All right, guys. Whew. Nice hot day here in Conroe, Texas. Today's project, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be changing the oil on my two pressure washers. The engines on them are Honda GX690 V-twin carbureted gasoline engines. They're real common. You find them on, log splitters, all kinds of equipment. Okay. But as far as the engine, they're all pretty much the same. They might have a few things located in a different spot, but they all pretty much work the same. So let me go over basically the things you need to know as far as the engine is concerned. Okay, guys, so mine are mounted in the floor of my trailer up here, so I'm going to try to do the best I can to show you where the drain plugs are. A lot of these, basically all of them, they have if you're looking at the front of the engine, on the left and right side at the bottom, there will be a drain plug here. But a lot of these have this, what's called a remote drain tube for the oil, okay? And instead of there being just a bolt in here that holds the oil in, they screw in this little elbow fitting and attach this drain tube to it. That way you can, like in my case, I can drain it off the side of my trailer and put a drip pan down there, and that's how I do my oil changes. There is also one on the exact opposite side of the engine. So you have one on the left, one on the right. With some of these pressure washers, I have seen them over there on that side, and there'll be a little drain tube coming out right there. This one, it's kind of hard to see it right there. That's for my pump oil. So, but anyway, the pump is totally separate from the engine. Again, this video's for new guys, if I didn't specify that already. So what you want to do, there's basically a hex fitting right there, and then this is the cap. So you got to hold this with a pair of pliers, or I'm going to be using adjustable wrenches, and then you unscrew this. If you just grab this and try to turn it, this whole thing's going to spin in there. So you have to hold that little hex. It's not really a nut, it's some type of fitting, but you have to hold that still and then spin this off, okay? Now the oil filter is also going to be mounted. In my case, it's going to be on the left. Some of them may have it on the right side, but pretty much every one I've seen is going to be on the left. All these fins right here, that's to help cool the oil. Okay, that's what they're there for. So basically, I try to write the hours that I last changed my oil, just so I know to do it. The manual calls for every 100 hours. You can do it a little sooner, or if you're kind of bad like me, you can do it a little later, but every 100 hours is what they call for. So all you got to do is unscrew this filter, and I'll show you some tools to do it with in just a second. You definitely want to have at least a few of these shop rags, and you'll find out why if you don't have a few of them. So basically what I like to do is stuff one up behind here. It'd be a lot nicer if these things were just mounted vertically so you wouldn't spill oil everywhere, but that's how she goes. So you're going to spill a little bit of oil out of here. Some's going to just come out all over the ground. So this will help prevent that from happening. You'll get it on the side of your engine and everything. I also like to take another one and stuff it up under here. That way it'll help catch everything. And something else you want to have is a can of brake parts cleaner. Doesn't have to be Walmart brand. Only if you're special like me, you get the high dollar Walmart brand. But after you spill the oil and wipe up as much as you can, there'll still be a film all over it. You spray this on it, it breaks the oil down, and you can clean it up pretty dang good. So shop rags, brake cleaner. If you don't have any of that, you can use some degreaser. I use Purple Power. You can mix up some Dawn and some soapy water, whatever you got. But brake cleaner, I find, works the best. The oil filters that these take, on the Wix brand, it's 51356 or XP. The XP is just made for specifically for synthetic oils. Either one will work. I try to go with Wicks because Vice Grip Garage, because Derek Bieri's awesome. He likes Wicks. He kind of talked me into them. I like them. Never had an issue with one. But from the research I did on this, the XPs have a different filter, media, membrane, whatever in them. And they're supposed to last longer, be a little more durable, blah, 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 whatever. So anyway, they work. I've used them before. The auto parts store that I went to only had one of these XPs, so I got the regular 51356 too. Oil filter pliers. These suckers come in handy. Okay, these are $5 to $15 at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, Tractor Supply, auto parts stores, wherever you need to get them. Get you a pair of these. They definitely work great. Another thing I'll be using, you can use on those oil drain caps like I just went over, you can use regular box end wrenches, you can use channel locks, groove joint pliers, whatever you want, but I'm just going to use these. This is what I grabbed out of my toolbox. They work fine. As far as the oil, it calls, the manual, Honda manual calls for a 10W30. I'm using it. You can use synthetic or conventional. I'm using full synthetic Quaker State today. That's what Walmart had on special. Anyway, so I forget the exact requirements of the words and letters here that it has in the manual, but I do remember that these exceed what Honda requires to run in those V-twin gas engines like that. So this will work fine. You can use Mobil 1, Pennzoil, stuff like that. Just read your manual, do your own research before you go on here and, you know, jump all over me for, oh, you didn't use Honda oil or blah, 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 whatever. Slow down there, bud. Slow down. So, this machine, as you can see, the drain tube is also on that side. They're both identical machines. Obviously, I can't hang that one off the side, so what I did was I drilled a hole in the floor of my trailer, and I hang that drain tube. I push that drain tube down there, and then I climb up under my trailer and take the cap off and drain it that way. So you just got to be worker than what you're smarting with, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, one more thing. The manual calls for 1.8 quarts, just under 2 quarts of oil, and that's with an oil filter change. Me personally, I've never changed the oil on any engine without changing the filter, and I have done oil changes on hundreds of small engine stuff, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, riding mowers, cars. I do all my own oil changes on that sort of stuff. So I don't know why anyone would not change the oil filter, but apparently people do it. So 1.8 quarts of oil when you're also changing the filter. So anyway, I'm going to get started and show you what I got done. Okay guys, so it's been draining for a couple of minutes, and once it slows down to a slow drip like that, it is pretty much ready to put the cap back on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay guys, I just thought this would be sort of a neat little trick to show you. You can get these funnels anywhere, auto parts stores, Walmart, whatever. This one was about, I don't know, 3-4 inches longer. I cut the end off of it because it's very tapered, and this hole only goes so deep right here where you refill the oil, and I wanted it to fit in there kind of nice and snug. So because if that long part was in there, it kind of wobbles around. I want it to sit in there and not move much. So fits in there really good. Again, these are like $1, $2, something like that. I just figured I would tell you that. It might help you out. Let me keep going. Okay guys, here's another few useful bits of advice. When you're buying oil, most of it has, I like to buy the 5-quart jugs because it ends up being a lot less expensive than buying individual quarts. They usually have these markings on them and you can see where the oil level is. I've already filled the oil in that one. I wanted to show you this. I already showed you the funnel, but don't ask me how I found this out the hard way. But when you put your funnel in there, you want to take a rag and wrap it around right here. Sorry, one-handed here, guys. Take it and wrap it around, because these things, they'll drink up your oil when you're pouring it in, but you don't want to just dump it all in there at once. You want to kind of easily pour it in there, because I made the mistake of pouring too much oil in at once, and what it did, it filled up right here, spilled all over my engine, all over the electrical wires, the starter and everything, and it was a huge mess to have to clean up. So pour it in real slow, take your time, and wrap you a rag around it just in case. And I'll show you. I'll back her off a little bit there. Again, 1.8 quarts per machine. So let me get this finished up and I'll hit you with a conclusion here. Okay guys, so now that I've got them both filled up, I wanted to show you, get some of this out of the way here. Basically, you want to take your oil dipstick, which is right by your cap. Go ahead and wipe that bad boy off. These things get really dirty, man. So anyway, after you pour the oil in there and let it settle for a minute, you can get a dipstick reading, which this one is kind of hard to see, but it is right there at that top hole in the dipstick. Now, I put about right at 1.8 or 1.9 quarts in it. And it's showing, it's honestly on that, it's showing it's a little over full. The reason for that is because I have not started the engine yet, and it hasn't circulated through the oil cooler and the oil filter yet. Okay. Once it does that, the oil level on that dipstick will go down just a bit. I would highly recommend before and after every job, if you can, to pull that dipstick out and check that oil. I'm about 90% sure that these GX690s and probably the IGX800s have a low oil engine shutdown switch, which basically means if the motor is dangerously low on oil to where it could cause catastrophic failure, that it will automatically kill the ignition. Again, I'm not Bill Nye the Science Guy. Talk to your mechanic if you want to inquire about that, but still, you don't want to run it low on oil, especially in Texas, man. I'm just north of Houston, and it gets really hot here. It breaks that oil down a lot faster than I would like it to. So anyway, that's an oil change on a GX690. Y'all can use whatever oil and filters you like. What I'll do is I'll take a screenshot. I keep notes in my phone because I've used a few different oil filters, and you can take that what is it called, the Wix oil filter number, to any auto parts store, and they should be able to cross-reference it for you and give you a lot of options. I've used the STP oil filters. It was basically like the highest level that they offer in their oil filter, and if I remember correctly, it was less than $10. The Wix filters are about $15-16 a piece, so there is a little bit of a cost difference there, but they're well worth it, guys. These engines are somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 if you have to replace them with a new one. So Take care of them. Check your air filters. Change your spark plugs every so often. Read your manual. I think it's somewhere between every 150 or 250 hours, somewhere in there. But again, read your manual. And I appreciate y'all watching. And anything that I might have missed, or any video you would like to see me do, something that I didn't think of that you kind of want information about, drop a comment down there, and I'll answer your questions best I can. And if I have time and I feel like I can make a video on what you ask, I'll try to make it and help you out, man. I enjoy helping people. So anyway, thanks again for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Clean Industries Pressure Washing.